This is a research proposal by Tong on hatching sensory impressionism. Supervisor, Dr. Tekliana Ahmad Fauzi from School of Arts, University Science, Malaysia, June 2025. Hatching sensory impressionism, dynamic hatching, cross-hatching, brushwork, and richly textured surface that engage both visually and tactility. Through the use of layers glazing, vibrant strokes, contour lines, and mixed media techniques, this approach captures flowing movement and energy while offering a subtler sensory experience. The work often features figurative semi-abstract subject inspired by nature and landscape. The goal is to create a style that is instantly recognizable and emotionally resonant, merging traditional mark making with contemporary materiality. This research proposal explored the developments and applications of hatching sensory impressionism, a contemporary painting technique that synthesizes the luminosity of Impressionism with the structural complexity of cross-hatching and contour lines. Building on the Impressionist legacy of capturing light and atmosphere, this style extends the traditions by incorporating dynamic brushwork and layer glazing to convey movement and energy flow. The study is to investigate how texture, mark making, and surface manipulations can enhance expressive potential in contemporary painting, foster multi-sensory interactions, and deepen emotional resonance for the viewer. My interest in this subject began many years ago, since like early undergraduate school and my experience as a studio art educator. Over the year, technical art elements, particularly hatching and cross-hatching line, have consistently appeared in my drawing, printmakings, paintings, and some of my mixed media artworks. This mark-making technique had become a natural part of my visual language, regardless of medium used. Research problem. The 19th century French Impressionism movement continued to influence contemporary artists like us. Modern Impressionist painters often use only rich, fluid brushstroke and bright, violent colors. In the traditional drawing technique of cross-hatching, contour lines, they are rarely applied to the texture surface of mixed media work. So this underexplored intersection give questions about how such integrations influences artists in expressions, how audience see and connect the work, and the multi-sensory impact of contemporary art pieces. More research problem here. How can traditional drawing method, hatching, cross-hatching, contour lines, be meaningfully integrated with Impressionist color and light theory? How to improve existing research limitation on textured, multi-sensory surface in Impressionist-inspired mixed media? What role can mark making play in enhancing energy flow and sensory depth in contemporary painting? This gap highlights the need for focused investigation into how combining traditional drawing technique with Impressionist method affect in visual perception and tactile experience of the artwork. How this integration can expand the expressive vocabulary of modern Impressionist practice. We have a research questions here. How do hatching line techniques integrate with texture, tactile, mixed media surface, and help show movement and energy flow in hatching sensory impressionism. We have a research sub-questions here. How do cross-hatched and contour lines structure interacted with impressionistic color layers to convey dynamism and depth? In what way does the tactile texture canvas surface alter the visual and touch engagement of the audience? What new expressive possibility emerge when traditional drawing techniques are merged with Painterly impressionism in contemporary mixed media practice? How can this integrated approach contribute to the presentation of materiality and sensory perceptions in contemporary painting? Significance and originality. This research bridges the gap between classical drawing method and Painterly modern impressionism, highlights the sensory dimension of viewing art, and aim to expand new directions for both studio practice and art educations on the synergy of light, texture, and color can revitalize impressionist traditions in contemporary contexts. We have an extended problem statement here. With the relief with mixed media, tactile depth artwork are hard or almost impossible to replicate with AI-generated image. The incorporations of painting work with layers of cross-hatching, contour lines, and build-up surface, three-dimensional elements receive digital reproductions. These sensory dimensions preserving the originality and authenticity of the artwork, offering protections against the homogenizing effect of AI. Addressing the importance of tactile surface in this context fills a critical gap in contemporary art research, highlighting their value in maintaining the integrity of artistic expressions. This extended significance and originality here is this research explore hatching sensory impressionism, combining structured line work with impressionistic painting in tactile textural mixed media. It highlights how tactile surface resists digital replications, preserving artistic authenticity. The study contributes to debates on originality and authorship, encouraging artists to use textures and line as expressive and protective tools in contemporary practice. Literature reviews 1, it's on Rembrandt's work. Rembrandt, the Baroque artist, he etched contour lines, hatching, and cross-hatching in his prints and demonstrate an early merging of textural and linear mark making. His mastery of dry point etching is evident in both Saint Jerome in the Dark Chamber, which is the one showing here. It's etched on 1648, and another one, the Omva, 1645. This print here is the Omva. So in the Omva, Rembrandt applies detailed hatching to depict the rough bark surface of the pollard willow trees and the last riverside. In both prints, we can see they were done in linear technique, capturing the tactile feel and the great detail on the tree rough bark surface. Literature review 2. It's about Claude Monet's painting. This is Pollards in Sunlight, 1891. An outstanding example of Impressionist painting at that time. The painting show momentary light and atmospheric color captured by artist brushwork, set the precision of direct visible strokes. This technique creates a shimmering surface, suggests lively movement in the air and flicker of sunlight through the leaves. Impressionists aim to paint direct sensory experience rather than fixed form. An idea that connects closely with my hatching sensory impressionism, where layer of marks depict motions, energies, and atmosphere. Literature Review 3, Vincent van Gogh. Vincent's work united expressive brushwork with rhythmic directional strokes. He used hatching and contour lines to convey movement and energy flow. His swirling line and thick texture deeply influenced contemporary interpretations of emotive line and surface. So in this painting, Lilac Bush, 1890, is one of the artist's late period style. Apply thick expressive swirling stroke in multiple layers to build depth and texture to create a shimmering effect that suggests movement and vibrant air. The layered paint's textural surface convey the artistic energetic response to the natural resonance with my hatching sensory impressionism, where repeated mark and texture layer express the living energy of a scene. Literature Review 4, Pablo Picasso. He's from Spain and later in America. So Minato Romance, 1935, it's a very powerful example of how traditional hatching and cross-hatching can create dramatic light, shadow, and depth in printmaking. Picasso used fine lines and layer strokes to build complex value and intensive atmosphere. Extensive linear expressions, especially in the textural rendering of the Minato fur and the emotional lines of surrounding figures. Minato Romance used traditional black ink line to tell a symbolic story. Hatching sensory impressionism, our work will focus more on an abstract sensory experience to show how classic technique can be adapted today to express not just from form and shadow, but feelings, emotions on the colorful canvas. Literature Reviews 5, Piet Mondrian. He's a Dutch and later in USA. And under many styles, he's a neo-plasticism. He under the style, the pop art, and he's a naturalist too. So in this work, The Red Tree, work from 1908, it shows Piet Mondrian early transitional work evolutions from representational naturalism to radical abstractions. This painting showed delicate natural twisting branches, and then this organic line revealed how Mondrian progressively distilled natural form into linear rhythms and planar structure. This is also Piet Mondrian's work, and it's called St. Jacob Church, Winter Sweat, 1898. In this painting, Mondrian employed curvilinear branches rendered with strong contour line that pulse with energy. So in our hatching sensory impressionism, similarly draw upon the expressive potential of line to animate a surface, but diverges in purpose and techniques of the parts. This is my recent painting, Mossy Forest 2 in acrylic. And this is done when experimenting the hatching sensory impressionism style. And I use dense layer of hatching and cross-hatching of different color strokes layer to generate views of tree structures, perceptual movement, and sensory resonance. The repetitive mark do not just outline, but build texture, depth, and kinetic energy, suggesting not a static structure, but an immersive, atmospheric, alive, with winds like currents and fleeting impressions. The crosshatch texture amplify the push and the pull between the surface and depth, creating a vibrations interplay that echoes Mondrian's early explorations of rhythm, but expands it into an abstract view of multi-directional energy. Literature reviews number 6. This is a piece of work by Sonia Nettabel. She's born in 1966. She's my age. She's born in India, and now she is staying in America. I think the city is Oregon. And she is under contemporary impressionist. This painting, The Canyon of 2022, exemplify a modern impressionist approach, integrating the inborn, the intuitive mark making, the layered color and atmospheric light drawn from her immersive observation of nature. Spontaneous gestural strokes that layer paint both physically and memory-wise, creating textural depth and visual vibrations. The artist channels the sensory impressions of time and place, assembling a landscape that feels remembered more than observed. Her painting reveals exploration of layered hiking landscape where natural earthy color merge with vibrant undertone to imply layered sense of distant space. Her expressive brushstroke create depth and movement that resonate with my own artistic practice, reflecting a shared emphasis on gesture mark making and organic compositional flow. Literature review 7. It's Eileen Hansen. She's born in 1981 in USA, and she called herself open impressionism. In her painting here, Through the Trees, 2018, amplify artist's signature open impressionism, a contemporary style characterized by bold, visible brushstroke, vibrant color blocks, and impasto texture. In the painting Through the Tree, the sunlight filtered through dense foliage, captured through thick mosaic light stroke that depict the sensations of walking through a leafy canopy. And the brushwork remains unblended, allowing underlying color to vibrate and imply depth forest light. This is another painting of Eileen Hansen. It's called Viridian Filigree. It's 2019. So Hansen's used her vivid impressionistic hue in bold patches that reflects the living energy of nature. Her approach gives smooth tonal transitions in favor of contrasting color plans that interact optically, creating a luminous effect. Hansen's techniques of applying thick side-by-side stroke wet on wet without overworking allow each mark to retain individuality while contributing to an immersive whole. Synthesis and research gap. We are here to explore blending hatching technique with impressionist color and texture, and introduce hatching sensory impressionism as a new style. and highlight multi-sensory potential of textured mixed media, suggest relief texture as a defense against AI replications. Methodology, practice-led approach. Creation of a series of mixed media artwork using cross-hatching, contour line, glazing, and textured relief surface. Visual analysis and documentation of how these techniques affect movement, energy flow, and depth. This research will adopt a practice-led, qualitative methodology, integrating studio-based experimentations with visual analysis and audience feedback. Studio practice on artwork productions will develop a series of 20 to 30 pieces of artwork in drawing, printmaking, painting, and mixed media paintings, progressively incorporating painting with layer glazing, push and pull color technique, deliberate hatching and cross-hatching to build tone, form, energy flow, and movement with contour line drawing to guide visual flow. So relief surface create with mixed media to amplify tactile quality and touch sensory. Ethical considerations. Promote positive elements in artwork as social contributions. Ensure that artworks and process documentation respect copyright and intellectual property. Research objectives is to develop and refine, investigate, examine, assess, and contributions. Outcomes. A cohesive series of original painting demonstrating the practical applications of hatching sensory impressionism. A set of documents, process, and techniques combining drawing-based line work with painterly color and mixed media texturing. Evidence of how tactile relief surface enhance sensory engagement and differentiates the physical artwork from its digital counterpart with audience feedback. Practical recommendations for artists and educators on how to adapt and teach this method in contemporary studio practice. Conclusions. This research explores hatching sensory impressionism, a blending of traditional line work with impressionist technique in texture mixed media. It aims to expand expressive potential while emphasizing the tactile, irreplaceable value of physical artwork, offering artists a creative and protective strategy against the growing influence of digital replication technology. Thank you.